Okay, so there's definitely been some talk about one Will Ospreay potentially making his way to the WWE. So I figured, you know what? Let's see how well the aerial assassin, one of the current, well, definitely in the contention for being the best bout machine, see how well he would do against his current iteration of Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table. Now, as always, as I'm going through this, just because someone has an advantage in one form or the other doesn't mean that person is absolutely horrible at it. And as we're going through these sorts of things, if you disagree with me, comment section's for that. If you want to make fun of me, that's entirely fine. Call me a mark, that's what the comment section there is for. As always, if someone ends up having more points than the other person, that doesn't necessarily mean that person is always going to lose. It just means more often than not in the world of professional wrestling, that person is probably not going to take the victory. All right, let's get right into this. First off, I don't think anyone's going to give me any sort of guff when it comes to strength. Will Ospreay is not a gigantic man. He's not really known for his power game, so very easily Roman Reigns would take him in strength. Speed and endurance. So Roman doesn't wrestle incredibly long, fast-paced matches. Will Ospreay does. Will Ospreay is also incredibly fast. If you don't believe me, go watch the very, very, I guess, either GIF or GIFable match that he did with Ricochet. I mean, this guy is incredibly fast. Or watch the match that he did with a Speedball recently on TNA. Well, I guess now it's TNA. Incredibly fast, works these phonetically paced matches, and works long matches too. Pretty much anybody who's able to go, move for move and pace for pace with someone like Kenny Omega has an incredible amount of endurance and is incredibly fast. Toughness, I'm going to give this to Roman. Now, a lot, of course, is this combination of kayfabe with a little bit of real life. What helps Roman right now is Roman has probably the best level of toughness possible, which functionally is pretty close to a Fast and Furious level of plot armor. Roman's taken an absolute beating, and he's always come out on top recently. Striking. Now this one, I was like, Superman punch is decent. The spear Roman does is very good. I'm comparing that versus someone who has got fantastic, whether it's the springboard forearms, or it's his knee strikes, or it's his regular kicks. But then I was like, the hidden blade is just ridiculous. So definitely, Will Ospreay definitely takes it when it comes to striking. I'll also give it to him too when it comes to his grappling game. Whether it's doing tiger drivers, whether it's some of the incredible myriad of suplexes or neck breakers that he has got a fantastic repertoire of moves, significantly more than Roman. And that's because with the E style, it's once you get your signature moves in, you don't need a lot of moves. Where with Will Ospreay, with him wrestling in Japan, with him wrestling in AEW and Impact, soon back to TNA, there's definitely much more of a here's the amount of moves that I can pull off. And Will Ospreay has got a devastating level of moves when it comes to a grappling base. Submission. While doing some of my reviews on Will Ospreay, didn't really see him use a lot of submission game, which he doesn't need to. I mean, when you have a move like the Hidden Blade, you really don't need to have some sort of fantastic submission move. Where you're looking at Roman added in a really solid guillotine, which he's used for some fantastic, more dramatic effects in some of his matches. So he's got a really solid match under there, which I didn't really see that much, and Will Ospreay's not really known for. High flying, again, really, I don't think it's gonna be like, oh, well, Roman occasionally does a dive. Will Ospreay, doing some of my research for him, seeing some of his front flipping DDTs and other moves, and I was like, this guy is absolutely amazing in the ring. Easily, like they said, he's in the top 3 when it comes to one of the best overall in-ring workers, period. Over with the crowd. This is where I know I'm going to start getting a lot of the negative comments. Roman is at the top of one of the largest, if not the largest, professional wrestling company on the planet. When his music hits, the crowd pops. He's not wrestling a lot. He doesn't need to wrestle a lot. When it comes to him saying, acknowledge me, the crowd acknowledges him. He is easily the top guy in the WWE, bar none, period. So when his music hits, the crowd gets on their feet, the crowd stands at attention, the crowd pops. Will Ospreay definitely gets a fantastic crowd reaction, but I think it has to be more with the people he's wrestling in front of. There's a much more niche audience, where I think with the E you have a combination of some hardcore, some more mainstream, and some casual fans. And I think Roman has definitely made a much bigger impact from that perspective. Ring psychology. Now, I'm not saying Will Ospreay is horrible at ring psychology. He's very good. He has set up his game tremendously since he's come back from, I want to say it was an ankle injury that he had. So, as you get a little bit older, your body can't do the moves you used to do. You definitely do pick up a lot more in the way of psychology. Roman has done a fantastic job mastering, the facial features, mastering looking at the camera, mastering the right amount of dialogue, pacing out his moves, hitting a big move, giving the crowd that moment to react, and then rest, and then hit another big move. Looking at the feuds he had with, like Main Event Jay, seeing somebody go for a pin on Roman, and then seeing Roman do a kick out combination low blow. It's the small things. Ring psychology is all about doing these really small minor things, and he does them really well. Not saying Will Ospreay doesn't, but I'd say Roman definitely has a slight advantage there. Mic work. Roman has come a long way from suffering succotash. He's very much gotten comfortable in what it is that he's doing. It also helps, too, that he's got Paul Heyman at his side to help give him a little bit of additional guidance, and Paul's also booking a lot of his segments. You can tell someone's gotten incredibly comfortable on the mic when Paul Heyman's in the ring with you and Paul's not talking. Now, I know I've seen some interviews with Will, and I've seen him cut some promos. I will use a bit of what Dutch Mantell has said about Will Ospreay. His mouth doesn't get you invested in him. His match gets you invested in him. His ring work gets you invested in him. So he doesn't really need to have that fantastic level of promo skill. You hear Will Ospreay is coming to your town, and you're like, he's really good. I want to see him have a match. If the bill said Will Ospreay will be delivering a promo, you're probably like, it'd be cool to see him, but I really want to watch him work. So when you look at the world of WWE, some of the more impactful wrestlers and the guys for the top of the card, they're not the best in-ring workers. They're the people who are best at working the crowd. They're best at getting people into the arena. They're not the ones who are the absolute best technicians in the ring. Yes, you have people who have a combination of both of them, but more often than not, it's the best character. When people talk about the Attitude Era, go back and look. Watch a lot of the matches. The matches are not 5-star, but the crowd is hot for the characters, and the characters are over. So that's just one of the things of professional wrestling. You can be an absolutely fantastic person, bell to bell, and that definitely puts you in a high place in the card. If you're a person who, with a microphone in your hand, can do everything just as well as you can when the bell rings, that definitely puts you a step above. Knowing where Roman is right now, I think a match between Roman and Will Ospreay would be absolutely amazing. They would undoubtedly tear the house down. Do I picture Roman taking the L to someone like Will Ospreay? Not at this time, no. Would it be an amazing match? Yes. Would Will Ospreay definitely have a nice star-making performance? Yes. Would Will Ospreay walk away with a W? No. Would he walk away with the stock incredibly high? Yes. He would walk away definitely looking like a main event, definitely like he belongs. But he would not be a person who would be successful over someone like Roman Reigns.